Music City is alive with the sounds of motorsport. The 11th round of the season for the Outsider Racing League takes place in Lebanon, Tennessee, just southeast of Nashville. They call this place Nashville Super Speedway, and tonight it plays host to the best song out there, the one with V8 percussion. Hi everybody, Kyle Heyer joined by Finian DeCuna and Connor Horn for the 11th round of the ORL season. Finian, this place is fast, it's concrete, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch as we continue our trek for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Another great spot for the next round of the season, and this is going to be the first place I actually get to watch in Nashville, so looking forward to seeing these guys put on a show. Some unfamiliar names near the top of the standings, and familiar names not even here in the race, so we could see some new drivers near the top and potentially a new race winner this season.
Population of Lebanon, Tennessee, just about a couple thousand people. Nashville Super Speedway constructed back in 2001. The track called a Super Speedway to differentiate from the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, just a little ways away. Cars on track for qualifying. Connor, this place is unique. As we continue our trek for the championship, we were at Michigan last week. We're at Darlington next week. And then we're going to get a little bit closer to the chase. So we're running out of races in the regular season.
Running out of races and running out of time. This is going to be the smallest track we're going to go to for the rest of the season. Crazy to think about. 1.33 mile racetrack here at Nashville Super Speedway. Definitely one of the more unique tracks on the service. Going to 2 unique tracks in a row, here and then Darlington. But this is a track you get speeds as high as almost close to 180 miles per hour in these Xfinity cars. You're getting it down almost to 125 over the long run. It's going to be a very tough race for a lot of these drivers to keep the right front tire on these things. The line is pretty much wrap the bottom and just hope no one's trying to pass you low, because if you're on the top line, you are killing your tires. So Bayley Turner was talking about it all through practice, how it just got pushing tight really bad. So I think we're going to see that from a lot of drivers. You might even see some tire problems arise. So you have to keep that thing planted to the bottom and not be too aggressive getting back to the throttle.
Cars on their qualifying efforts. Jeremy Miller, Mitch Welker currently at the top of the standings. Infinity, I think you alluded to this. Got some new names here this week. We also have some names that are missing, notably Jeff Wright, Andrew Telganoff, those in the championship fight. So looking squarely at 24 of Bayley Turner and the 76 of Mitch Welker potentially to be the favorites tonight and make up some ground in the championship.
Yeah, and also looking at qualifying, the time's so close near the top of the standing. And also one driver that's looking particularly fast, number 50, Locatis. He just finished his timed run, but at 50, fastest in practice and qualifying decently midfield in 7th at the moment. So definitely want to keep an eye on him to potentially get himself to the front.
So qualifying continues to be underway. Eddie Trejo on track. Couple new drivers, Dustin German, Jerry West here that have not yet gone on the circuit. Here's Michael Hurley in the number 32 as he comes out of turn number 4 to complete his lap, but I think he's already put a couple in the book, so he will not advance. Trejo on track, and he's going to roll out of turn 4 and come to a stop, it looks like, Finian. But 150 laps around here is not a particularly short race. We've had some short races in the last couple of weeks. This one will be a little bit longer, but entries a little bit low this week, 16, Finian. That means that qualifying won't be quite as important, but we're going to see the field potentially be tighter because of that.
Yeah, curious seeing how the field spreads out with this race. We're going to see guys a little bit more closer, guys a little bit further apart. We saw in Michigan, everyone started off real close and then slowly drifted apart as the run went on and green flag pit stops came underway. So for Nashville being a little bit tighter, we'll see things be shorter, and it really comes down to how the tires are going to wear out. I think if the surface is going to be more abrasive and the tires are going to wear out more, we're going to see these guys slowly drift apart as some guys save and some guys abuse their stuff.
Here's Dustin German, the number 100, rolling out of turn 4, his first start of the season. Connor, new names, new faces. Is this a good place to kick things off when there's a championship fight happening towards the top? Do you think that could be an issue for Dustin, or do you think he's just going to kind of work his way through the field and maybe start from the rear and kind of move his way forward?
I'd be surprised to see him go to the top. Not quite sure what type of driver he is, so we'll see what type of time he puts down here. I expect him to kind of just hang around, hopefully just have a clean race, and it should leave a good impression on the drivers around him for a track like this, especially if you can keep a clean race at a track like this that's sort of a bit tough on newer drivers. I think that would be a good start for him if he could just keep it clean as he comes to a stop here.
Yeah, he's not going to get a chance to put a qualifying lap in the books here as we get set to go racing for 150 laps here at the Nashville Super Speedway. Kyle Heyer joined by Finian DeCuna and Connor Horn. In a moment, we'll bring you your starting lineup and bring it down to the racetrack for the opening ceremonies and the pace laps. here from Nashville. Connor, we'll see you in a little bit. We'll get you your updates throughout the day. 150 laps will be our race distance, and we'll see you a little bit later, Connor. Anyway, let's get moving for our pre-race here. Talk about our starting lineup as we head down to the racetrack for our grid. 8 rows of drivers. This is a relatively small grid, but because of that, I think we could see some very competitive moments here early with not a lot to lose.
Yeah, and especially because we're missing, one of the biggest names in the recent weeks, Jeff Wright. Man has won 4 races out of the last 6, so he's been on fire, to put it shortly, in the last few weeks of the ORL season.
150 laps, about an hour and 16 from start to finish, assuming that we go green from the green to the checkers, Finian. And what that means is what we've seen in the past. A lot of green flag running is a possibility here. So you're not going to set your strategy by expecting yellows. You're going to expect to go green from flag to flag tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen time and time again these guys are very clean, very green. That means if you're planning on having a short run race, you're going to want to reconsider your strategy. You're going to want to look at those tires a little bit more. We've seen that be the determining factor in a lot of the outcomes for many of the races this season.
Field rolls out at turn number 4, 150 laps about to get underway here from Nashville Super Speedway. Jeremy Miller on the front row, Ryan Carwile alongside. Green flag flies, and we're racing in round number 11 in the Outsider Racing League in 2022. Miller fires off in the number 30, well clear of Ryan Carwile, who started alongside him in the front row. They head through turn 1 and turn 2. Bayley Turner on the outside of championship foe Mitch Welker.
Yeah, a solid run, trying to get himself established in lane. Still trying to make a move on the inside of the 71 of Carwile. Carwile still defending, using the run from that top side.
Ray Massey back in 5th, tucked in behind, watching the two go side by side. Welker to the bottom of the 71 out of turn number 4 to complete the first lap. And across the line, Welker will steal second by a nose.
Here comes Welker, as you mentioned, moving his way. Carwile may seem, at least for now, it's going to be a losing battle. Turner trying to tuck himself in behind the 76 to move his way on through to third.
Massey, wow, that was really tight. Massey's on board here as he follows the 2 ahead of him, the 24 and the 71, still flanking the 76. Miller firing off very, very quickly here in the early moments.
The question is, when you're him, where do you go? There's nowhere for him to go at the moment as Turner and Carwile side by side.
Bayley Turner is in 3rd coming into the standings into tonight, so he's got a lot to lose, but also a lot to gain tonight. He's 61 back from the leader and only 6 back from Telganov, so he will certainly walk out of here in 2nd, assuming that all goes well otherwise.
Miller, meanwhile, you can see the lead already checking out by a couple of car lengths back to Mitch Welker. Welker trying to chase him down. Carwile also getting a decent run out of the corner. You see Turner down on the apron trying to cut off any lanes of attack for the 71.
Yeah, and there's quite a bit of banking here, so you're going to be, and a lot more grip than you'd expect too, so you're going to ride on board here with Massey again. Just listen to the throttle applications that he's putting in. On throttle here up to over 170. He's going to get down to turn 3. Going to lift a little bit, but not a lot of brakes. You're going to let the banking catch you, and then you're right back on throttle again. So you're going to be carrying quite a bit of speed around here. You're going to slow down a lot over the course of the run, but right now things feel good, and everyone's going to be very close.
Yeah, right behind them, Casey Locatis getting past Zach Passon for 6th place. And Locatis, his car was looking a little squirrely. He came sliding out of turn 4 on the opening lap. I was afraid he was going to be potentially more sideways after pushing the car, but it seems like he's found a groove. Now he's potentially trying to attack the 23.
Turner holding back Ryan Carwile. Not a great start for the 71, dropping 2 spots in the opening moments. But we've seen Carwile typically be better in that longer run regardless, Finian, so I wouldn't yet be panicking for the 71. I think there's a lot of time in this race to get him where he needs to be, and I think a lot of that's just going to be that green flag running and that strategy that's played out for him in the past.
Yeah, definitely a guy that comes in more into attack in the later parts of the race. Had a pretty solid win at Homestead just by playing it patient. Looking in the back of the field, Eddie Trejo and Justin German doing battle. That's for 12th place.
German's picked up a couple spots, up 4 in the first 7 laps, so looking very strong in the silver SRTV car. John Rowland, Ben Lafter, Joey Tebb in the next 3 on the chopping block. Miller has a 1.3 second lead over Mitch Welker here and was 3/10 faster than everybody else last time around, or at least faster than the guys chasing him.
Yeah, it's amazing looking in behind. You can see an entire train of cars leading all the way back to around 9th, 10th place. Everyone just kind of lined to stern, sitting in lane. No one can quite get the upper hand at the moment. So they're kind of just sitting in line, if anything, picking up one position at a time. You see Case Locatis only getting sideswiped by the 23. Here comes Locatis, 50, a run out of turn 2, trying to make a move.
Here he comes to the inside. Locatis drops down to the bottom, was very quick in practice. Started 7th and now about to grab 5th place away from Ray Massey, so a good climb. But can he clear the 23? Not quite. Massey's going to keep some overlap here on the run down to the front straightaway again.
Yeah, but that dog leg out the front, giving advantage to the 50, as you'll finally be able to clear the 23. And now he's under attack by Zach Passon behind.
Oh, here comes the 69 car. Zach Passon gets kind of chopped off as the 23 goes back to the bottom. Brian Chambliss is in the mix now. But everybody stuck behind Casey Locatis as he slides up the racetrack now. Massey looks to the bottom again.
Now Casey gets a decent run out of the corner. That should be all said and done for now as they single file back out.
Down into turn 1 and 2 again. Miller leads the way, and finally, we had some issues in the early moments with Comcast. Looks like it's all cleaned itself up by this point.
Oh, I wouldn't speak too soon.
I got the green box fitting. We're good. First 10 laps, some issues there with the internet, but we're looking a lot better now. All right. Miller, Welker, Turner, Carwile, and Locatis 1 through 5. Then Massey, Passon, Chambliss, Tebben, and Laughter, the rest of your top 10. I know we're good because I saw for a second 37,000 kilobytes of upload as it was catching back up. So yeah, it was a little behind, but we're looking much better now. All right. So we've got everybody single filed out here 11 laps into this race. And Miller holds a 1.5 second lead. It is still growing. But his advantage over Welker is down to about 1/10 of a second a lap.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if that's going to be eaten into more and more, because I got to imagine Miller is pushing his stuff. Definitely, arguably one of the fastest guys here. And in fact, I set the fastest lap of the race, just 0.02 of a second faster than Welker's fastest time. So the real question is, can his 30 keep this pace up? Is going to be because the second half lead is pretty large. And I got to imagine at some point he's going to maybe slip back because that's almost arguably too big. Either that or the sort of just really got this place figured out.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible he's got it figured out. I mean, everyone's got a track that they particularly like or they're good at. For some people, it's road courses. For some people, it's short tracks. For Miller, it might be the concrete surface here at Nashville Super Speedway. Behind him, Dustin German up to 11th place. He continues his climb, but now it's a much bigger gap up to Ben Laughter to get inside the top 10.
Yeah, that definitely has some work to do in his Ford Mustang. But yes, up 5 places, biggest mover of the race.
Pretty even split amongst the manufacturers tonight. Noticeable lack of Chevys, though, in the top 10. Only 3 of them. And one of them...
I was going to say, that was like Michigan last week with the Toyotas, with almost all of them outside the top 10.
Not a day that they want to repeat. Bayley Turner, the highest running Chevrolet at the moment. Again, in the championship standings, 3 of the top 5 are Chevrolets, and they're all the top 3, Wright, Talganoff, and Turner. So Bayley flying the bow tie right now.
Yeah, definitely can use this chance to gain some valuable points, potentially a win. Arguably one of the biggest competitors to the 48. We've seen them do battle quite a few times this season. And unfortunately wasn't able to get the win from Wright. We saw him throw a bit of a block. Oh, and a bit of a wiggle there for the 24. Almost gets rear-ended by 71.
Yeah, Carwile thought there might have been an opportunity there, but Casey Locatis saw one. Jumped to the outside of the 71 now as the 50's having a very good day. Look out, the 71 drifts up in 3 and 4. Very tight quarters between those two.
And Locatis pinching the 71 down on the inside, who got very close to the wall though, so I think the 50 had a bleed off in speed. Looks like he has just enough down the straightaway, he'll clear the 71. And move that 50 up into 4th place.
Really like the look of that 50 in the early going here. He's doing very well. Massey, Zach Passon, and Brian Chambliss are now in the mix. Let's have a look at Chambliss's day so far. Started in 9th. He's moved up 1 spot. Has a 2nd spot right ahead of him. That's Passon's number 69. Zach has kind of been in and out of the series this year. Chambliss has a win. Think back to Atlanta early in the season.
Yeah, having a fairly quiet day. The midfield has only gone up 1 spot, so kind of stagnant at the moment. There's no real clear way for him to go because everyone else is single file. So he might just be riding his way on. I think a lot of these guys in line on it just kind of biding their time till the first round of pit stops, just feeling this car out because there really isn't much urgency when you're all within a second or so of each other.
Right. I mean, you're feeling a lot less pressure when you're running in a big group like this than if you're all on your own. So that certainly changes how you attack in terms of your strategy in the long run. When you can see the people you're fighting versus when they're half a lap up the road. Jerry West and John Rowland trading spots. Jerry West, another newest driver this season, and appears to be teammates with Dustin German's number 100 car. See the SRTV logos on the side. John Rowland right behind. A very classic-looking red, blue, and white paint scheme with that number 96 on the door. And Michael Hurley, last of the drivers on the lead lap at the moment, back 12 seconds. Run about a half second off pace.
Yeah, not having a particularly good day back, as you mentioned, half a lap down, nearly 12 seconds behind. Not sure if he hit the wall or anything. No, the car does look clean. He's struggling to find some speed at the moment.
Jeremy Miller holds a 1.5 second lead off to a very good start, but Mitch Welker finally is starting to chew into that just a touch. 31.402 to a 31.492, so Welker gained almost a tenth of a second last time by, and this time through does gain a tenth of a second. 1.4 now is the gap.
Yeah, I'm curious if we're starting to see maybe the tipping point in the run where Welker, being a little bit more conservative, he's going to start making some decent inroads in on Miller. I mean, a tenth of a second, that's pretty good, but the question is, can he keep up making that 1/10 of a second, eating into that lead 1/10 of a second every lap?
He's got Bayley Turner right with him as well, so once Welker gets there, everybody's going to be there. Ryan Carwile and Casey Locatis fighting again right behind each other. That was really big understeer for Locatis out of 4. He's going to lose 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 spots with the 69 right behind him.
Yeah, he just gassed it up a little bit too early, caught a brush of the wall as well, so definitely was not the best of corners. And all that work that he put in working his way up to the order with some decent moves, going to be mostly for naught here. He's going to be put back in behind, potentially past it, if Pass can find a way around.
Joey Tebben, momentary issues, will stay in line. Here comes Chambliss with a look up the inside of the 50 as Passon also completes a move. Now this is one of those frustrating moments when you're getting kind of freight trying to do. You just find a way to stop the bleeding. And Chambliss is going to make sure that he can't plug that hole.
Yeah, Locatis is really struggling on that top line. I'm curious if he maybe been brushing that right front a little bit too much. Sorry, I'm brushing the right front, but working the right front a little bit too hard. And so we saw him make some pretty solid moves, but at what cost? It looks like he's really struggling on the entry and mid-corner, which tells me he's going to have to back off again really hard there and exit, that he's been pushing a little bit too hard.
Connor?
Just looking at that lead for Jeremy Miller, slowly come creeping down, a few hundredths here and there, and Mitch Welker's got it down to about 1.2 seconds. Seems like Miller's tires might be wearing off, but he insists that his tires are good. He just keeps making too many mistakes, similar to his friend Bayley Turner in the third position, that he's faster. He thinks he's faster than Mitch Welker. He just keeps making the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah, can't make mistakes. And again, we'll see this as this gap comes down. The race is really going to start. And then, Connor, in the past, Miller's had trouble hanging on to this, this good pace that he has early in the race. Later in the day, how is he trying to combat that tonight with such a strong start?
I think he's going to have to try to combat it with the dirty air. I think this is one of the most aero-dependent, if not the most aero-dependent track on the service for oval racing here at Nashville. I mean, you can see the gaps that are forming pretty evenly. Everyone on the bottom line trying to make something work. There's just really nothing to do with. So if he has worn his tires off, this is the best track to probably do it, I suppose. I don't think he's done anything to really help his long-run game for the day today. But with how bad this dirty air is, even if Welker gets in that dirty air range, which seems to be about maybe 3 to 4 tenths, I don't know if Mitch Welker's going to be able to break it so easily.
Dustin German up another spot here on Ben Laughter, and he's going to break into the top 10 after starting dead last, Finian. Really like what we're seeing out of this 100 so far.
Yeah, I was going to say, we didn't really know what to expect between him and even his teammate in the 86. They seem to be having some decent days in the mid to back half of the field. Both of them didn't really put any practice laps in, so both are a bit of a question mark. But yeah, this 100, I think if you can get him, now that he's worked his way through the order, if you can get him close to the front, he may be able to make up another position or two, potentially put him solidly in the midfield near the front.
Yeah, good start. He continues to work his way forward. Has a bit of a gap to make up to Joey Tevin up in 9th place. Miller leads by 0.7 of a second over Welker. Then Turner's right there. That's half a second back to Carwile and Massey. That make up the rest of your top 5. 26 laps complete of 150. Still over an hour of racing to go. We've been green from the start of the race until now. And so far, we've had no lead changes and only one leader. We'll see if that begins to change.
And I definitely think it will. I mean, the way the gap is coming down now, it's now over 1/10 of a second, almost 1/10.5. That Welker is eating in lap after lap, and Miller is really starting to fall off. Just looking visually from the 76 off the corner, I can see the 30s having to wait a lot longer to get on the throttle.
On board now with Welker. And started in the second row. Big dive into turn 1. He's decelling all the way to the apex. And then is right back on throttle. But I heard a lot of tire scrubbing too, so I wonder if maybe he's wearing out that right front while he's chasing Miller, who might be wearing out the right rear. But watch Miller here. On corner exit. Car's yawed out all the way up to the wall here, Finian.
Yeah, actually, looking there, it looks like he's actually eating a lot mid-corner and on entry. He's just throwing the car in there and making it stick. Miller doesn't really have that option at the moment as he's struggling for grip. You see the car drifting up just a little bit more than his other competitors and coming up a little bit higher on the exit off the corner, and that's causing him a big loss in speed, and Welker is getting closer and closer in the mirror.
Feels like this place is one of those tracks that's pretty line sensitive, so the second you drift up a couple feet out of the normal line, you're going to find yourself losing 0.1 of a second a lap. It appears to be that's what the case is at the moment. Up front, here's Eddie Trejo and Ben Laughter side by side for 11th. Jerry West in 13th, wants away by.
Looks like he'll find his way in through. He'll go through the 64 and potentially looking at Trejo as he left the door open, but Trejo able to stick ahead for the moment.
Carwile and Ray Massey only 1.5 apart, but up front things are getting closer and closer.
Woo!
In one camera shot,
Both.
Miller and Welker only about 5 car lengths apart.
Yeah, it's a Miller that back end stepping out on him. He threw it in really hard and tried to gas it up. It almost kind of turned. It looked like it was about to turn on him in the middle of 3 and 4. Connor?
Yeah, just talking a little bit more about Bayley Turner. He keeps complaining about the dirty air, saying he can get 2/10 within Mitchell Welker, but he just gets pushed loose behind him. It's sort of what we saw with Miller, even in clean air. I think that's just how badly he's burned off that right front tower. And going a little bit back, Brian Chandler's had some good insight on what the strategy will be. There's not much strategy you can do. It's pretty standard 2-stopper. The fuel should last to 50 laps at least, so we should just see everyone pretty much do a 2-stop race if this does go green all the way. And Brian Chambliss was also talking about how it just seems more of a chore to get to someone rather than actually passing someone. So pretty much almost everyone in the field likely sharing that same info as Chambliss is.
Yeah, and interesting to know that we'll just split this race into even thirds, and that makes the strategy a little easier, assuming we don't have any caution flags. But Mitch Welker has caught Miller for the top spot here, Finian. Here comes that Aeroshell Supra.
Here's where he's going to go. He's going to try to pick the bottom, pick the top. In turn number 1, gets a run on Miller. Looks like he wants to take the outside. Miller going up to block that lane.
Right behind him. Miller walks up the racetrack just a touch, and it's going to bring that 76 right to him.
I was going to say, if Miller holds up the 76 for too long, Turner is going to be a factor.
Well, where do you go? I mean, it doesn't really look like there's multiple grooves right now. Kind of stuck in behind.
76 gassing it up, almost getting to the back bumper, that 30.
Yeah, we're not seeing multiple grooves right now. It seems like it's the bottom or bust. This is going to make Mitch's job a little harder. Oh, Mitch missed the turn in there.
I think that was on purpose. I think he was just trying to test the water to see if he can turn down harder on entry, get a run into 3, but as you mentioned, just not the lane's just not there at the moment.
The other thing about concrete is that the track temperature doesn't fluctuate as much because of the lighter color. It doesn't absorb energy as quickly. So the track temp's about 108. And here comes the 76 now to the inside. A great run out of turn 4. Can he make this pass complete onto the apron down the front straight?
Well, he's definitely got the hard part done. He's got to the inside quarter panel. Just can he execute the maneuver? He's pushed that 30 up to that top lane. We mentioned not a whole lot of grip, and that 30's already struggling on tires. Here comes the 76 trying to power out of the corner.
Side by side down the back straightaway for the top spot. Welker and Miller. Welker's got the nose ahead, almost clear, and for a moment he was. Miller is going to have to slot back in line now. Bayley Turner now smells blood in the water with that 30 car with a wound.
Oh yeah, and I think I'm curious to see how Turner attacks this in comparison to Welker. Welker just drove hard off of turn 4 and pushed that car to the inside. We'll see now how he's going to do on Miller. Miller, you can see struggling to get the car down to the bottom. The lane's open for the 24.
Yeah, Turner couldn't quite keep the foot in it on corner exit, so Miller will hang on to second for now. He only has to make it another 15 laps until the pit cycle, though, so it doesn't have to go incredibly far. If he can stay in the top 3, he'd certainly stay in the picture. The question is, if he gets passed by Turner, how long will it take for him to lose positions to Carwile and Massey as well and put himself in big trouble? Remember that Miller had a 1.5 second lead at one point, and now he's looking like he's going to drop out of the top 2 and maybe top 3.
And there goes Turner easily on by. No contest really from the 30. Not a whole lot he can do except just play defensive, and as you mentioned, may have a chance of falling outside of the top 3. As Ryan Carwile is the next driver on the list trying to hunt him down.
And much quicker last time by almost 2 tenths faster than Miller is the 71 of Carwile, last year's champion, reigning champ in the series. And this season it hasn't been incredibly fruitful for him. He's raced 10 times. He's had 9 top 10s and 4 top 5s, but interestingly only 1 win. And that win came back at Homestead early in the season. He's had a good year, but it hasn't been championship winning quite yet.
No, definitely not. It seemed like he got that 1 win at Hempstead earlier on in the season, but hasn't been back to victory lane and hasn't had the best of runs in the recent weeks. It's been pretty average with 5th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 8th being his last 5 finishes. So definitely could use a couple more top 5s and definitely is in a solid position tonight, though. As I say that, Ryan Carwile gets passed by Ray Massey.
Yeah, Ray Massey up to 4th place. Moving forward, now the lap times have fallen off about a full second from where they were at the beginning of the race. And again, we're expecting a lot of right front tire wear on this abrasive concrete surface. But Mitch Welker, wow, Mitch Welker had a big tank slapper out of turn 4. Let's have another look at that. Watch this. Comes off the corner and right here, real sideways, but gathers it back up. He has a 7/10 of a second lead.
He's pushing that car hard. I'm really curious now, looking as we're starting to approach that first pit stop, one of these guys is going to come in, because obviously the passing, not easy. It's not terribly difficult, but it's definitely not the easiest thing in the world. Let's say that here comes Jerry West working past Joseph Tebben.
Yeah, so Jerry up to 10th place after starting 13th, and Dustin German, who we documented started dead last, he's up to 9th and is continuing to actually run quicker than the drivers ahead of him. And last time by, he was the 4th quickest car on the racetrack, so he's certainly not slow. He just needs some track position. Didn't get a good qualifying lap in, so he started right at the tail of the field. That does not mean that he's destined to finish there, though.
No, definitely not. I think what he could use is a caution, but he definitely seems to be a driver that's playing it a little bit easier, not pushing the car a whole lot.
Oh, Miller in the wall, turn 4.
Part.
Grabbed the fence, got loose, walked it up the racetrack, and definitely put some damage in on the nose of that car.
Yeah, he just had the car started sliding out of turn 4. He was just trying to gas it up, force the rear end to rotate. And you're going to see right here, gets back on the gas, starts to slip out, it's trying to catch it, and bam, in the wall.
Yeah, and that's going to add to the frustrations for Miller. He's down to 4th place now, and he's going to have a damaged car, which is just going to compound issues. And there's actually some pretty significant damage you can see on this nose, where the hood is actually crinkled up, and the entire right side of the car, even the side skirt, is damaged as well. So that's going to be hurting him quite a bit here. And he's got Ryan Carwile, to make matters worse, hot on his heels.
Yeah, and Zach passing right in behind, waiting for a moment to strike. So it's going to see here what Carwile's going to do. I think he's just going to try to get a run down the straight here, get a little bit of slipstream, and then use it to go to the inside.
Miller drove it in really deep. Let's get back on gas a little bit later. That time he exits well and actually maintains the spot. He only has to make it a couple more laps, and we can bet that he'll be one of the first drivers to hit pit lane.
Yeah, between him and I think Locatis, I think are going to be probably one of the first guys to come down the pit road. Locatis is falling off quite a bit, and you can see Miller getting very close to the wall. Here comes Carwile and pass him. Nowhere for him to quite go as he's kind of boxed in behind these two.
Yeah, again, Miller walking the car sideways out of turn 2, struggling with the rear tires again, and looks like he's going to lose not one but 2 spots here. And again, remember, he was leading this race by 1.5 seconds and just burned up that right front.
Connor got away from us.
Yeah, this sort of Jeremy Miller, just maybe inexperience in the dirty air. We've seen a lot of drivers kind of get a push-loose situation like Bayley Turner was talking about, and Miller was talking about how when he jumped sideways, he couldn't catch it because he just wasn't expecting loose. He had been almost tight and not getting any sort of sideways in clean air, but once he got into the dirty air, it just kicked around, and he said he just could not save it.
Yeah, I mean, he's led 34 laps, which was only 10 laps ago that he lost the lead, and in that time, he's lost 5 positions. So he really needs to hit pit lane sooner than later. And Connor, I'd expect that to be the case where he'd hit pit lane as soon as he could come back.
Second place, here comes Ray Massey with a big run out of turn 2. And here he goes, trying to look to the inside, wasn't quite there. And Massey's been saving his stuff quite a bit. Look at the drive off the corner he gets in relation.
Yeah, really good drive. Connor, do you find that the right front or the right rear is what people are struggling with? Because, again, it appears like people are maybe understeering and turning that into oversteer on exit because they have a lot of wheel cranked in it. But are they also potentially getting loose and wearing out the rear tires as well?
I think it's more of a right front situation because everyone's just trying to save that right front, because when you wear it out so much, you end up having to turn the car a lot more and maybe get on throttle a lot more just to get that thing to turn. And then what that will do is just get you sideways where you're pushing up the track but trying to turn it. As one driver coming to pit road, that is the 9 of Chambliss, but you get trying to turn so hard, you end up, kind of kicking your car sideways, and it almost jumps out and surprises you like it surprised Miller. It jumps your car sideways where you then almost evenly wear out that right rear when you're trying to turn so much because the right front's just completely worn out. So definitely more of a right front issue, but a right front issue, not being able to turning it too much will cause a little bit of a right rear issue.
So 2 cars on pit lane, Chambliss and Jerry West. That was a little earlier than perhaps we expected, Finn, and I thought we'd at least let people get to lap 50 before they started hitting pit lane, but it seems like the desperation for fresh rubber is there. Maybe there's some strategy motivations there as well.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised to see 86 down there. I thought he would have been stay out a little bit longer than some of the others. He looked like he was saving his tires pretty well, but early stop for him. I hear 71. Ryan Carlisle is going to come on down.
And I like that Miller didn't immediately hit pit lane as soon as he saw others doing it, because in the past that would have compounded his issues, and he's going to stay out. Yeah.
Wow.
So I like that call, though, because you don't want to make your issue worse, as Mitch Welker is also on pit lane.
Yeah, so leader coming in pretty much on target, exactly lap 50. He doesn't want to be on these tires anymore.
He's led 14 laps this race, and that will turn over the battle from second over to the lead. That's Turner and Massey going at it now. And we're coming to the 1/3 mark of this race this time through. And I'll bet that, well, looks like Massey's going to hit pit lane this time. And he's going to bring Passon with him as well.
Genuinely interested in seeing 2 of the guys we started to see struggle, Turner and Miller, even Locatis for that matter, all of them staying out longer on this run. You feel that logic would dictate they do the opposite, come in earlier, but so interesting call. I guess they're trying to make the second run a little bit better for themselves, but I'm just curious if they're hurting themselves more just staying out on bad rubber.
Well, there's a balance there, right? Because if you're struggling on long runs, if you pit early, if you pit early, then you have to make your second run even longer, which is.
Whoa, Miller sideways in behind for a little bit, trying to get the car down on the pit lane. He's still sideways. Oh boy.
Well, we heard him sliding. I didn't get to see him, so let's go back and have a look at it. Yeah, he had that thing real sideways, but did manage to get it woed down to pit road speed. And I don't think he'll fix any of that damage, and I'm curious to see how much that's affecting him, because it doesn't look like a lot.
No, it doesn't look too bad. Definitely could be a lot worse. It's obviously not doing him any favors, but definitely could be a much worse situation. Ooh, he went a little bit. Okay, I thought he might have gone through his box. He's good.
So Mitch Welker back out on the racetrack, and I think he should cycle out to be the race leader here. Ray Massey and looks like Ryan Carlisle very close together here.
Massey's going to slip up the track just a little bit. Carlisle not quite able to get back to the inside. And there you see Miller and Turner returning to the racetrack.
Oh, Turner's going to fall in right behind this battle. That's going to be an unfortunate drop. He lost a lot of ground to Mitch Welker.
This is why I'm a bit surprised he decided to stay out as long. If he came in a little bit earlier, I mean, he wouldn't have had his fresh tires, but he probably would have been ahead of the 3 guys ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if that'll pay off. But I think, lap time-wise, that might have been an okay decision. I think track position-wise, it's going to hurt him because he's going to have to pass a couple groups of cars that are fighting pretty hard, whereas Welker leads Brian Chambliss by 2 seconds. Now, Chambliss actually ran a little quicker than Mitch last time by, so curious to see where the tire drop-off is going to be, given that he pitted about 5 laps prior to Welker. Working lap 54 of 150. Finian, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I really think this race is going to come down, at least the second stop is at this point, is going to come down to when you pit, because I think it's going to be a matter of winning or losing the race on pit road, when you decide to come in, and if you can pass some guys down on pit lane, that'll be better. So, like we said, we'll see if Turner can use that extra rubber to try to work the way up past. Problem is, everyone else is also on fresh rubber, so it's going to make life a little bit harder.
Mike Hurley hits pit lane. He was the last holdout, so he will come on down. But Bayley is not making up any ground right now. He's stuck behind 4 other drivers, 3 of which are directly ahead of him.
German and West teammates battling out for 8th place. These guys have been doing a really good job working their way slowly up the order. Both with German starting back in 16th, West in 13th. They move themselves up. Looking here, Turner trying to look to the inside of Carwell, almost turns him. Wow, got very close to the rear bumper.
He's seemingly very comfortable with where the front bumper of his car is. Down into turn 1, he's going to have the look on Ryan Carwile. Carwile up the circuit. We have not seen that outside lane be very good at all. He will have to give the spot up to the 24, so Turner will move forward into 4th.
Yeah, you can see Carwile not choosing to battle, just choosing to save his tires. So you know that Turner's got the faster car at the moment. Here comes Miller working on Rowland. That's the 96 is a lap down, so no change of position there.
48 minutes to go if this goes green to the end, and we've seen a lot of green flag running the last couple of weeks. Some races that went green from start to finish. Turner, oh, he gets into the back of the 23. He turns him. And Massey saves it on the apron, but certainly some aggression there out of the 24.
Yeah, it's kind of that was I think mostly desperation. He did apologize to the 23, but yeah, I think he saw Massey slip up the track, thought he could stick the nose in there. Unfortunately, Massey came back down, and just a little bit of overlap was enough to turn him.
Great save by the 23. That was, I thought for sure, as I mentioned, we had gone green for so long that we were going to get a caution, but Massey will save it. He'll drop 2 spots, but Turner got what he needed, the track position.
It's because there's one way to pass someone. Probably not the best way to pass someone, but definitely an option to do it. And moves himself up into 3rd place again. He's got 3 seconds. Still got Brian Chambliss ahead of him. But he's still got 3 seconds of track time to make up on the 76 of Welker, who's definitely looking like the fastest guy out there.
Yeah, Welker 31.0 last time by, which is what Turner just ran also while spinning out the 23. So there is still, seems like there might be a lap time gain for Turner. Chambliss is 2/10 slower, so he's going to go backwards from here on out. Now, you can knock somebody out of the way, no problem, assuming that they can't get back to you. I wouldn't be so confident at this stage in the race that that guy wouldn't make it back to me, though. So I'd be careful with that kind of aggression at this point in the race. Apology or not. Can't always guarantee it's going to get accepted.
Just about 15 laps from halfway. Gonna look at the top 7 drivers in the race points. And so Turner, I imagine he would probably get past Chambliss in that time. I'm curious to actually see how much of a fight Chambliss is going to put up, because these guys are definitely not racing for the same place on the track. So I'm curious if Chambliss is going to play this a little bit more cautiously, or is he going to put up a fight for the 24?
Well, going to take him to the apron here. Can Turner open the door? He's got a line to the inside. He should make pretty quick work of the 9. Some tire difference here that will help. And through goes Turner into 2nd place. And that time he was 2.5 tenths quicker than Mitch Welker. So, the 9 gives him a shove.
Yeah, so Turner was slipping out of turn 2, trying to get ahead of the 9. Cham was giving a little bit of a bump from behind. And now nothing but clean track between Turner and Welker.
Welker has been out front since about lap 35. Minus a few laps during the pit stop sequence. Last time by, Bayley Turner ran 1/1000th of a second slower than Mitch Welker. So they are pretty much dead even as it stands, at least on that particular lap. But we've seen a lot of come and go here with the lap times. Turner will eat 2 or 3 tenths in it and lose 2 or 3 tenths. So I'm not
the
sure.
The problem
there's
is, though,
clear advantage.
based on the last run, is that Turner was actually starting to fall off a decent amount towards the end of the run. We saw him actually be worked on by the 23 and get passed by the 23 of Ray Massey. So that's going to be something Turner's got to watch out for this run, make sure he doesn't push the tires too hard. Which is a problem because it's an oxymoron. He needs to save tire, but also try to catch the 76.
Yeah, gained 100th last time by, but you need more than that to go run him down, and then that's assuming that he's not burning up the tires at a bigger rate either. So about 35 laps until our final pit stop window opens. And then we have, again, approximately 85 laps to go thereabouts. Here's a look at our race recap so far. 87 to go, 4 leaders, 4 lead changes. Most of those lead changes happened because of the pit stop sequence.
That time by Welker, 31.3, Turner 31.1, so made up a sizable chunk.
31.5 to a 31.3, so Turner gained another 0.2 there.
Yeah, so now he's actually starting to make some decent ground. This is what the last time he needs to keep up again. Can't push it too hard, but he's making some solid pace out of this. Chambliss not too sticky, not too far behind, and you're riding on board with Ryan Carwell trying to chase that 9 car.
Carwell is rolling the center really well. Remember, he started second and dropped early in the going, but he's starting to look better and kind of falling into his zone. And this is typically what happens to Carwell, is that over the long runs, he just gets better and better and better. And it gets more encouraging for his day the longer he runs.
So I'll move to the inside of Chambliss. Chambliss, not a whole lot he can do on the outside. Again, on older tires, is one of the first guys to come down to pit lane. They actually kind of see where he even came in from. I think he was running in around 7th or 8th place by the time he came in, so worked out pretty okay for now.
Yeah, but we have a long way to go. You know, another 30 laps or so until he can pit again. So if he loses, he's going to have to lose about 2.5 seconds to get back to where he was. But here comes Ray Massey now.
Yeah, he came in 7th place, and now is about to drop back to 5th here.
Joey Tebbin and Jerry West also trading spots as we watch Chambliss and Massey go back at it.
And Massey looks like he's just going to finally get on by and try to catch the 71 of Carlisle. Casey Locatis just getting back past Dustin German, and he moves himself back in 8th place.
And German actually lost a spot there. Thought he was coming forward, but in fact he was going the other direction. So he's kind of found an equilibrium here just inside the top 10, but certainly still a good start to his racing stats here in the ORL Series.
It definitely has a long-run car at hand. I think 50 Locatis is making good pace on the short term. Cockrell down on pit lane. He's been down there for 12 laps. Not sure why. Try to find the cause.
Don't see any damage on that car, so it could just be calling it a day. Leader is only 2 seconds up on Bayley Turner now, so Turner has eaten in about 0.7 of a second since he got around Brian Chambliss. And still gaining about 1/10 a lap, but when is that hill going to get crossed, or will it get crossed? Will he continue to eat up time in the next 30 laps?
I think so. I mean, again, the big question is, can he keep this pace going? Can he keep catching? Can he keep gaining time on Welker? Or is he going to reach that point where he himself starts to fall off? If he's been watching himself, if he learned anything for the first run, I would say he's definitely got a solid car. In the 76, I'm not sure what really he can do to try to keep that 24 from catching him.
Not much. We're working our way about 5 laps from halfway. The top 7 will earn points. And for Welker and Turner, that's going to be a good thing for them because, again, they're both trying to work on catching Jeff Wright and Andrew Talganoff. Now, we don't have drop races, so if you miss a round, you're just out those points. Turner has already missed a round, so has Mitch Welker. So this is effectively going to make the top 4 all equivalent on starts, except for Ryan Carwile, who has made all 10 so far this season.
Yeah, Carwell should gain a decent amount of points. I mean, Turner as well. Turner has a chance to also gain a decent amount of points. I think should be surging past Telganoff. Wright's lead, though, is going to be hard to surpass, as Bayley Turner 61 points behind, Carwell 73 points behind 48.
Yeah, Jeff Wright is suddenly, we had a pretty equal start to the season, but now that we're kind of deep into it now, this is our 11th round. Jeff Wright's won 4 races, and 2 of those wins have, actually, all 4 of his wins have been in pairs. So he won at Iowa and Michigan back-to-back and at Bristol and North Wilkesboro back-to-back. So he's kind of winning in groups right now. But I was going to say 2 of his 4 wins have come in the last 3 weeks. Here's Passon catching Jeremy Miller. This is for 6th.
Yeah, this is a bit surprising. I thought Miller was going to continue climbing forward, but Passon now starting to mount the pressure. See Miller still, wow, he's so interesting. The first one he was struggling with being too tight off of turn 4. Now he's struggling with being too loose.
Fascinating decision by Passon to go to the outside there. I wouldn't have thought of doing that. I think you want the inside.
I guess he figured that Miller wasn't probably going to give him that inside. He was being protective of it, so might as well try something. Get a solid run off the corner just like that.
But then what? Then you're going to get to turn 3 and struggle to make pace up here. Maybe just relying on Miller's problems on the inside.
I think that's what he's trying to rely on. Miller's slipping and sliding on the inside. Here comes another run from the 69. Drag race down the front straightaway for both these cars.
156 miles an hour past the camera shot there in turn 1. Passon trying. We have not seen a pass get completed on the outside yet tonight. He's about 70% of the way done with it here. 80, 90, and 95. Not quite clear, though, as the 30 comes back down.
Yeah, and again, though, I think that drive off the corner. Whoa, boy. Getting real tight there. And now here comes another run. Can pass and seal the deal.
Yeah, I think he's
Pretty
got
much
it now.
able to do.
Miller's going to try to make one last lunge down here, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold it at this point.
No, he's got to give up a lot of speed mid-corner. This is going to compromise his exit.
Yeah, Ben Laughter on pit lane. Unscheduled pit stop for the number 64. But it looks like Passon will grab 6th spot away. Meanwhile, Bayley Turner has reeled in Mitch Welker down to 1.7 seconds, so that gap continues to fall for the 2 race leaders.
Yeah, no, yeah, we actually just surged past halfway. In fact, I couldn't really check if Passon got that at the line. Oh, yeah, he did coming to 76. So Welker, Turner, Carwell, Massey, Chandler, Passon, Miller all getting points in that order.
So at least Miller will earn a point in that halfway mark. Massey and Carwell run 3rd and 4th. Past halfway as we approach our 20 until our final pit stop sequence, about 38 minutes to go.
So 23 to go for a wild ride off of turn number 2 as he comes off of turn 2 now. From a little help from the 24 who's just up the road. '23 trying to get back into 3rd place.
So Mitch Welker has led a whole bunch of laps. The 30 led 34 laps early in the going. Welker has now led 39, so he has led the most so far this evening and continues to sort of be the dominant force. And Bayley Turner's climb it looks like it's halted at about 1.7, 1.8 seconds now. So it looks like Welker's going to be the man to beat tonight. And he has not yet won on a non-road course. Both of his wins this season have come on road course tracks. And I'm sure it'd be a nice hill to overcome tonight to win on an oval.
Yeah, I remember he had a decent chance at Homestead. Wasn't quite able to seal the deal there. And also finished 3rd at Dover, another oval he was really quick at. So he's definitely solid at some of the ovals, but never quite able to seal the deal. Obviously, the road course, you could place a very safe bet that the 76 is going to be at least in the top 2 or 3, and definitely a solid shot at winning. But looking to see if he can get the deal done, though. 24 is slowly catching. And speaking of catching,
Miller spinning
15.
Out of turn 4. Crashes in front of Locatis, bounces off the fence. Can he save it? No, he's going to spin. Will the caution fly? We stay green for now. There's the caution flag at lap number 81.
think Casey Locatis had a heart attack there.
Wow, a self-spin. We haven't seen one of those in months,
No.
it feels like.
I, honestly, with the way that 30's been tracking off the corner, I'm not surprised. He's been getting that back end out quite a bit, and this time just came out a little too much.
Yeah, just kind of got behind here. And slid right in front of Locatis, and Locatis squeezes by, locked it down, and slid down to the apron. That'll bring our first caution out, the first caution of the last 2 races. And this is going to mix up the strategy a little bit here, Finian. What do? I don't think you can make it to the end.
No, you definitely don't. These guys should have an extra pair of tires. Let me double check that. Spare set they can come. Oh yeah, they have 5 sets this race, so they have more than enough tires to work with. So I mean, I would definitely come down and get some fresh Goodyears. And here comes the exodus down on pit lane.
And Mitch Welker has dropped off the timing screen. There he is. Uh-oh.
Oh well.
Well, we've got
It's awkward.
people inside each other.
We got a glitch in the matrix. Connor?
Yeah, that is a NSFW, to say the least. It is probably going to cost him the lead, which is pretty significant unless he does get a good pit stop. But Jerry Miller, I don't know if it was being watched, but he was sideways that entire run. He just could not keep the handle on that thing. It just switched to the loose side, and he just got to a spot where he just could not catch it. And that was their ending result, as Turner does get the lead. So that blink out's going to really cost Welker. I think it just cost him 4 spots.
It cost him a lot of spots down in pit lane. He's going to cycle out to, I think, 5th. I think Chandler's beating him out. So that was a horrible sequence on pit lane for the 76.
He's got that Comcast internet like I do. I'm red again. Woo!
He actually said Spectrum, to be specific.
That's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Close
And
enough.
it's garbage all the time. I had AT&T fiber for a year, and it was the best internet I've ever had. And Comcast can suck my nuts.
Oh, and
And probably Mitch Welker's, too, because I think he just dropped out, did he not?
Yeah, he's gone again.
Oh, 'tis the night for the internet struggles, my dudes.
Yeah, that is...
Quality is 45.
I feel bad for him. He's having such a good night, race-winning car. Internet telling him to go stick it.
Me
Still haven't
too.
lost them.
Me too.
And Joseph Tevin, his teammates, also have flashing in and out again. He's been doing that all night, though.
So I pay $100 a month for 1,200 megabit internet. I get like 600 down, so I get like half of what I pay for. And on random nights, it just decides that I don't deserve upload speed. I've dropped 27,000 frames.
Yeah,
All of those in the first 11 minutes or 11 laps, and then a couple of them in the last few minutes. So,
yeah, I mean, there's a reason ISPs, I think, are one of the most hated companies in the U.S. The most hated types of companies in the U.S.
you know, it's a shame because like everyone hates AT&T too, but my experience with them with their fiber network was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I hate AT&T too because their coverage sucks. Like, I don't know, I just get like places where I just get absolutely nothing. Yeah, I don't know, and they also try to trying to figure out the PG way to say it. They're trying to mess me out of a phone deal and cost me a few $100s.
I don't get why they have to be so evil because they would
Up.
What?
And we officially lost Mitch Welker.
Oh, that just blows.
F's in the chat.
I have had to record this live stream because I've lost almost 20% of the frames that were attempting to go out to the internet.
Better go find him.
Yeah. All right, well, 1 to go. For Mitch Welker, that caution actually helped him, though, because at least he won't be as many laps down as he would have been otherwise. But I have a hunch that he's going to call it a night because the chances of us getting another yellow are slim to none.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I don't know. We haven't been in too many of these situations where we get a yellow in the first place. Yeah, so you never know. Everyone on fresh tires. Still got a pit stop left, and they're going to be pushing from here on out. So we'll see what's at stake here, especially with a chance to change up the order. Some newer guys near the front, some guys with fresher tires now. They've been struggling back down the order. Casey Locatis, Dustin German's been having a really good day from 16th to 6th. You see silver car on the outside lane. I'm not sure if he's got the immediate pace. Definitely a long run car, but who knows? He may have been saving, may have been hiding something. We'll see here when we turn it green.
Rolling out of turn 4 and coming back to the green flag, lap number 85. 15 laps until the pit window. Well, you might be that's the longest we had somebody go before. Not quite.
I saw Cockrell come in after 56 laps, so I'm saying the limit's around there. We'll have to get a check on that, but here we go.
Green flag back in the air. Lap 86. Turner fires off. Dustin German up to 4th place in that 100 car.
Yeah, I was saying it might have been hiding something. Ooh, the 23 slipping and sliding off of turn 4. He's able to recover it, lose a little bit of speed. Ryan Carlos surges on past, and that 100 car is on the hunt.
He is coming up to 4th place, looking for 3rd now maybe on the 23. Casey Locatis right behind the 9. Jerry West side by side with Trejo. It's pretty tight right now. People know that there's limited opportunities to make passes happen before they're going to get spread out again.
Up, and here comes Locatis, dive to the inside of the 9 machine, using his fresh tires while he can.
Three-tenths of a second is the lead car while running him down. Closed a little bit of a gap that time through. 60 laps to go.
Yeah, if you're looking behind Carlo, you're seeing a very similar picture to what we had at the beginning of the race, where everyone's kind of tucked in, nose to tail, following each other on the bottom lane. But we're not seeing the leaders stretch out to quite the lead we saw earlier with Jeremy Miller. And oh, dude, don't suggest that. My wallet's already crying out in pain.
But I'm surprised no one's taking the chance to do that. Here's the lead. Turner and Carwile. Turner goes defensive. Carwile goes to the outside.
And we have seen very little success on that outside lane. We saw Passon make a move earlier on in the race, but other than that, it's been mostly done on the inside. You can see right there, Carwile tucks back in behind, but definitely is on the attack now and starting to mount some pressure. Yeah,
that's going to cause Bayley Turner to just look in the mirror a bit more, and that could be a big distraction here in the closing 50 laps of this race. If you got someone breathing down your neck, it's not going to be helping you look out the windshield and focus on your line when you've got Carwile over the back of you. This pack is very tight. I've noticed that. We've really kept everybody together.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's similar to what we saw at the beginning of the race, and arguably everyone's staying a little bit tighter. I think as they figured out how to run this track, and I think also the rubber being put down has helped quite a bit. I guess let's take a look at the track temperature. It's actually gone up about 3 degrees. I think last time we checked at the beginning it was about 108. And as I say that, it just drops down a degree, so it's 110 now.
Yeah, again, concrete doesn't shift and shuffle as much as an asphalt track does, so I didn't really expect track temp to be a huge factor in today's race, but you look down, the track is covered in clouds, and that's going to be going to have an effect, albeit a small one. Locatis is all over the back of the 9. Almost got Defender in the right and the left rear there.
Yeah, Bing's trying to force the 9 out of the lane, whatever he can do to upset his run so he can have a chance. But it's so hard when everyone's nose to tail like this to get a move done.
And you don't want to step out of line because you're just going to get freight trained, so there's definitely some self-preservation involved in something like this.
And we got Connor in the booth with us. Connor, when do we expect these guys to be on pit lane, or do we expect them to be on pit lane at all?
Well, they'll be on pit lane. There's no way they're going to be able to make it about 65, 70 laps on a tank of fuel, but just talking to some drivers, Casey Locatis just wishes he'd get some track position. He let Brian Chalmers get back by him after hitting the apron. He says he thinks he can run away with this if he could just get the track position, but being back in 6th place, likely not getting to the lead anytime soon, but you never know. And Bayley Turner, the race leader, contemplating strategy, contemplating 2 tires, just trying to get some track position and some more time on the guys behind him, and also trying to figure out if he wants to undercut the guys behind him just so he doesn't get undercut himself.
So are we expecting stops in the next 25 laps or so, or do you think they'll be a little earlier, a little later?
I think if you splitting it in half, which is usually what my call would be around the 120 range at this point. So someone like Ryan Carwile, Ray Massey trying to undercut might go like maybe 117 or somewhere like that. Maybe even a little bit earlier if you're Jeremy Miller, or maybe for Miller you go longer and hoping to catch a yellow. But around that 120 range, once we get close to there, we'll start seeing business pick up and more strategies start to unfold.
Here's Chambliss to the inside of Dustin German. Again, his first start here in the series. He's been impressive so far tonight, but about to lose the position to the number 9 and the number 50 right behind him. Wow, look at Locatis trying to go middle.
Check.
Yeah, it's really awkward there for a moment.
Locatis telling him, get back in line, I'm not done yet.
Well, Connor did just say that he feels like he could go up and run away with this, but he's got to get past these two cars. And you got the 100 on the outside, the 9 car on the inside, the 69 behind you. You don't really have a lot of opportunities here.
Yeah, I'm curious what Locatis has got planned as far as strategy. If he's going to try to maybe come in a little bit earlier. We're talking about getting that track position. You can benefit quite a bit, especially if you feel confident in your pace, like the 50 does. You can come in a little bit early, and the 100 car goes to the outside. Going to lose 1, 2, 3 spots in one corner. Going to pull back in line. I think he feels his car is starting to fall away from him. So what I was saying is that if you feel like you got some pace, maybe worth coming in a little early, get yourself some clean racetrack and just put down some solid laps.
So still very tight battles back here, but German down a couple of spots to 7th. Ryan Carwile all over the back of Bayley Turner, about a 10th and a half back, so he's going to have to keep this 24 car honest. And Ray Massey lurking in the wings. The 23 car this season, haven't talked a lot about him. No wins so far this season. His best finish was 2nd back at Bristol. He had a 3rd at Homestead. But in terms of the mile-and-a-half tracks, back in Atlanta, he finished 12th, so it's kind of been up and down. The 3rd at Homestead, the 12th at Atlanta, the 5th at Wilkesboro, and 8th at Dover. It has been kind of all over the board for him at tracks like this, but looking like a pretty promising night for the 23.
Yeah, last win for him back at Rockingham 6 months ago in November.
So maybe another 10 laps or so until we'll see the mad dash to pit lane. 2 cars out. Mitch Welker with that internet disconnection. Clifton Cockrell down in 16th. He's done for the night as well.
Really curious to see who's going to be the first taker down the pit lane. I expect to see these guys around 110, 125. It's probably going to see these guys get spread out. Locatis in behind trying to make a move on the 9, hits the apron and loses some speed off the corner. Well, here comes Passon.
Yeah, Passon might smell some blood in the water there with the 50's failed attempt on a pass. Passon again has been arcing this in a little bit more. He's been less afraid to use the outside than some of the other drivers tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if you can time it right, you can gain a lot of speed. Problem is if you miss that turning point, you're going to be stuck on that outside lane and just lose a whole lot of time. Mike Hurley down on pit lane. He's finished his final stop, so I think he's good to go to the end.
Yeah, he's a couple laps down, though, so it won't be much of a factor, unfortunately. But Locatis chases Brian Chambliss. I believe Locatis has got some serious pace here. He's quick. He just needs to get clear of this 9 to show some of it. His strength is on those worn-out tires. Always has been.
Locatis getting really close to the yellow line. Arguably too close. There have been 2 instances where he's just hit that apron and bounced the car up and lost a lot of speed. He's got to be careful looking back at the leaders. 71 chasing down the 24.
Yeah, 40 laps
yeah,
to go
I imagine.
at this point.
Yeah, I imagine that Carwell is just going to wait to try to overtake him down on pit lane. I don't think he's going to try to burn up his stuff too early.
No, I think it's almost better to either just follow him down and run with him there or just wait to pounce if he makes a mistake coming onto or off of pit lane. Miller's down on pit lane. I would have expected this, so this kind of makes sense. Get his last stop out of the way and just focus forward. Back to Locatis and Passon. And Chambliss also for 4th.
You can see how much ground Locatis gained on the exit. Got a big run, head full of steam. Going to go down on the apron, have a look up the inside. Almost going to knock the camera off the back of the car.
Chucks it down in there. Can he make it stick? They're both going to slide up. 2 cars, 3 cars, 5 cars on pit lane. Miller, Rowland, Jerry West, Joseph Tebben all on pit road. As Locatis goes for fourth on Chambliss, another big lunge into turn 3. Will it pay off, though?
I'm seeing Locatis' car get a little bit loose in the back end. Can't quite get the run off the corner of the 9 can, but shorter way around is on the left-hand side. Locatis almost clear. Can't quite, as the 9's going to throw it hard on that outside, but I don't think he's going to be able to maintain it.
Locatis has the spot. Now he's got to prove that he can move forward. He said he felt like he could get up there and run away with this thing. Chambliss and Passon side by side. That brings Dustin German back into the mix.
So Casey kind of close to the outside, but as you mentioned, German sitting in behind. We saw him go those spots. I was a bit surprised to see him yield 3 positions, but I guess just didn't want to be stuck on that outside lane. Figured it was better getting in behind, but he hasn't lost sight of these guys, effectively the same group he was battling with. So definitely still in a hunt for a top 5.
And for second place, Ryan Carwile and Ray Massey only a 10th apart. And Turner's actually gotten a bit of a lead, 7/10 of a second. This is a critical stage of the race to build that lead out.
Yeah, this is where we saw also Massey too. I think Massey's got the best long run car out of the 3. Remember, we saw the 23 overtake the 24 before the first round of green flag pit stop. We're starting to see that pace again out of him. The question is, can he get past the 71 though?
Massey right behind Carwile. Carwile's won a race this season. Massey has not. Turner
German
has
down
not.
to pit lane.
Ooh, that's a little surprising. He saw that group ahead of him. Maybe figured he's not going to pass them without burning up his stuff, so you might as well do it now. Joseph Tebben and Ben Lafter trading positions. Lafter dropping down.
Yeah, it's one of the first of the front runners to come on in. We'll see if this leads anyone down, especially in that group. Anyone coming in. Brian Chambliss on the radio. He's coming in. 24 coming in.
So the race leader going to hit pit lane. Will anybody follow? Ray Massey is going to. Massey gains some ground, it looks like. Here comes Chambliss. So now Carwile is sort of almost, do you think he should stay out a few more laps, or should he come in immediately? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it really depends. Does he feel like he can make up that ground on the fresher tires, or does he feel like he can continue out? Because he didn't really burn up his stuff this run. So I think maybe it might be worth staying out just a few more laps. Don't stay out too long. Stay out a few laps.
Yeah, he's coming.
And then come in and make him up on the fresh tires. So he's coming in. Locatis choosing to stay out.
Yeah, he woes it down. I don't know. It's so hard to pass here. I don't really like the idea of overcuts because you have to be able to pass really easily and effectively. I just think this is a good call here. Don't waste any more time on the racetrack than you have to, given how difficult it's been to make up physical track position tonight. Locatis leads the way now. Mike Hurley on fresh tires is going to go by him to the inside, or try to. This is going to keep Locatis from hitting pit lane even if he wanted.
Yeah, I'm sure Locatis not too probably happy with the 32 taking his line on the inside. Ooh, he gets sideways out of turn 4. It cost him a little bit of time. Cost him a few tenths.
Zach Passon is rolling off of pit lane now. Jeremy Miller, who's already made his final stop of the night, rolling around. He will potentially have the lead for a moment once Locatis hits pit lane.
Yep, and he is coming in this time by.
Right on board. Oh, he's going to miss pit lane.
Ooh, no,
Not quite. Oh, that was close.
Very awkward entry, but an entry.
He just commanded that car to turn. Bayley Turner squeezes by. So it looks like everybody now has made their final stop of the day.
Yep, exactly. Everyone's made their final stop. Everyone's good to go till the end. Turner working his way up through the order through guys who came in early. Namely, you just got past Jerry West, got to work past Joseph Tebben and Jeremy Miller right up ahead.
Yeah, 30 laps for Miller to hang on to whatever he can. If he can finish top 5 or top 6 out of this, I'd call that a victory, given the bold strategy call to pit so much earlier. 30 laps is a lot of time here, though. Turner right to the back of Tebben, and he'll make pretty quick work of the 60. Connor?
Yeah, I was just trying to talk about how the 50 of Case Locatis, he was planning 120, came in a lap earlier than that and almost missed pit entry. It's just talking about Jeremy Miller's strategy as well. He was either going very short, very long. He decided on very short. We know how valuable the undercut's been today, and it's worked for some track position now. Looks like he'll just let Bayley Turner run through for the pretty much effective race lead. And Bayley Turner, he was thinking about pitting around 112. He was just eager to undercut Ray Massey and Ryan Carwell behind him because he just did not want to get jumped himself, but he was able to time it pretty much perfectly where Massey came in, and it was Carwell himself getting undercut, so it worked out well for the 24.
So the big question is now, with 30 laps to go, can Ray Massey track down the 24 gaps closest? It's been for him. I feel like it's been closer than it was before they came in.
Well, Turner, half a second up the road. As we wind down the last 14 minutes of this, I think the only thing that could really deny Turner a victory at this stage of the race is potentially a caution flag. I don't think that Massey's quite gotten the pace to go up there and run the 24 down and then pass him. He might get close. Look at this battle into turn one, though. Jerry West, Dustin German, and Ryan Carwile over the back of this 100. This is a volatile battle for position.
Yeah, both of them get past West, who came in a little bit earlier, but yeah, Carwile really the main battle between Carwile and German. And a whole bunch of cars stacked for position in behind Miller and currently holding on to second place. Oh, a spin on the front straightaway, car on the wall, and Mike Hurley
Keeps it going. We stay green. Saw the smoke up the road. Oh, he spins! Caution. Wow,
Oh,
that
man.
changes everything.
Yeah, and also look at we got to look at the 24 when we look at this replay. And this got really tight out of the corner.
Whoa! Oh, trouble.
Yeah.
He got some big damage on that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Just gets up in the wall. Might have been kind of mirror driving a little bit, trying to stay out of the way, and ended up getting into the fence, bouncing off, and bam! And that punched a hole big time in the nose of the 24, and that is going to be a big deal. Holy cow. Well, that's going to change a lot of the strategy, Connor. I think everyone's going to have to hit pit lane here, get a fresh set of Goodyears.
Yeah, Michael Hurley said that his clamp came off, meaning his wheel likely came off his desk. He said that happened earlier in the race on the start, so that's likely what happened to him here. It just thrown the whole race upside down, obviously.
Can we take a look at Casey Locatis' point of view? Because he, I think, is going to have to change his overalls for the second time in this race.
Yes, I think you would have to pit here. Everyone's pretty much coming in for 4 tires. No choice.
Here's a look at Casey Locatis is on board.
There you can see the smoke from Hurley. He's coming on by.
Whoa! I was about to criticize him for not slowing down, but from his perspective, it looked like everything was cleared up by the time he got there, so you can't really blame him for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, there was the caution. Oh yeah, there's a slow car on the top side, and then all of a sudden a car veers towards him.
So everyone's on pit lane. Casey Locatis stays out. Interesting strategy call, and the 24 is going to roll even with the damage.
I mean, he's got no choice at this point. Honestly, with the 50 of Locatis, I mean, you might as well, right? Because he's only out. He was the last guy to come, last of the leaders to come on down. So he has the freshest tires of them. It's not going to be as fresh, but that track position, we talked about how much worth it is. I'm really hoping he's not choosing to just lead a lap and coming down, because if not, I'll go down and physically slap him across the face. But I think this is a solid strategy. If he stays out in front, he should have some. Be able to hold up with these guys. That caution actually might have helped him.
Well, he only pit about 6 laps ago, which was about 4 laps prior to the caution. So I think you're right. Something to be said there potentially about maybe that strategy playing out for him. Well, we're going to find out. Bayley Turner is going to start alongside him with a punched-in nose. And it's not been a good night to be the race leader, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious to look at. I mean, so Turner, I think his car is not going to be competitive at all. He's got a really solid amount of nose damage to that machine. I don't think that 24 is going to be competitive. Chambliss, he may have a decent decent word to say. Miller, we've seen his car has been a little bit damaged. He's been kind of struggling. It's not slow, but okay. And then we got Ray Massey, who's arguably the fastest guy, other than Locatis, in the top 5. And Carlisle really did not have a good run on pit lane back in 7th. German back in 8th. So the field's all discombobulated. Anyone who was near the front's kind of midfield. Some guys that were midfield now near the front. So I have no clue who's going to win this race, but I think we're going to be in for an interesting last 20-lap shootout.
Well, we have had 2 cautions tonight. Now, correct me if I'm wrong about this, Finian, but we have not had a lot of yellows in the last few weeks. Back at Michigan, we had no cautions. The week prior to that at Iowa, we had 1 caution. The week prior to that at the Charlotte Roval, we had 1 caution. That was a stage break caution, so that doesn't count. So you have to go all the way back to Dover. So we've had as many cautions tonight as we have had in the last 4 races combined, which is only 2, Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Can't say I expected it, but also this is a track that can sort of breed cautions. And speaking of that last caution, Bayley Turner was obviously not happy. Had choice comments for the 32, Michael Hurley, who's retired from the race. And speaking of in the race, I suppose Case Locatis is now in the race. He said he could run away with it if he got track position. He's got it. He stays out. He thinks this is his opportunity to run away with it. He's going to take the top because I think he wants to pin in that 9 of Brian Chambliss because he knows the 30 of Jeremy Miller already has damage. Chambliss is clean, albeit on 2 tires, but I think he wants to pin the faster cars in. That includes Ray Massey, who's in the 3rd row on the bottom.
Well, it's going to be very interesting. We don't have a lot of cars left, and what that means is people are going to be aggressive. Not a lot to lose here, but plenty to gain.
What happens with aggressive.
Aggressive goes around, said the mighty Rick Allen. Quick race recap for you. 23 laps to go, 2 cautions for a total of 7 laps, 5 leaders, and 11 lead changes. Time to go racing. You're watching the Outsider Racing League here on Sim TV, round number 11. Here we go, out of turn number 4. Coming back to the green flag for 22 laps to go. Casey Locatis, Bayley Turner, Jeremy Miller, Brian Chambliss, Joey Tebbin. Green flag, we're racing again here from Nashville.
Oh, yeah, that 24 is really slow on the straightaway. Miller is already about to get past him on the front, looking to the outside lane. I think that was a good choice from Locatis to try to pin some people in behind. However, Miller, he's looking like he's can't quite get by. You see the 24 pushing hard on the inside.
Locatis trying to use this opportunity to run away with these 2 fighting behind him. He only needs to hang on for 21 more laps next time by, and that's not a lot of time. But can Turner get by Miller or vice versa? Miller sideways.
Wow, Miller forcing it hard to try to get past the 24. Couldn't get it done, so Bayley still in 2nd place, and I think Locatis is going to be a Bayley Turner fan to just try to hold up the field because he's definitely not catching the 50.
Out of turn 2, Locatis leads Turner, Miller, Chambliss, Massey. Tebbin side by side with Massey. Carwile in 7th, up 1 spot from the restart.
Oh, hello. That's an interesting situation. I have a chance to make it go 3 wide. Oh, 71 sideways off the corner.
Big slide for Carwile. He hangs on. 20 laps to go.
Almost had some help from that German actually hit the back of Carwile. Looks like there wasn't any severe contact or damage between the 2, but almost put the 71 around.
I like where Locatis is. He's out 0.4 of a second. We've seen how challenging it is to pass. He's got decent pace tonight. The 2 cars behind him are damaged. Brian Chambliss is the highest running clean car on fresh tires. For Casey Locatis, it has been 116 races without a win. 116
wow, really?
starts. So it's been a while. Into turn 3, Massey and Tebbin still side by side. Carwile still nowhere to go, kind of a repeat of last lap.
Ooh, Brian Chambliss brushed with the wall. Up near the front, so some damage to the right side of his machine. Everyone pushing hard, finding that extra 10, as they know it's all coming to an end shortly.
Oh, Tebbin's in the marbles in turn 2.
You can see he goes way up the track, uses a whole lot of speed. Here comes German charging the inside.
Yeah, he got way too high up the racetrack. slots back in line. Bayley Turner struggling to keep pace. Here comes Miller. This is all Casey Locatis wants to see in the mirror.
Yeah, these two fight out. Turner holding the dominant line. Miller stuck in that marbles. Can't find any traction to get past the 24. And you know that Turner's going to hold on every single position he can because there's nothing else he can do to get him back. Oh, and the big block, Miller going to give him a bump in the corner.
Yeah, these two are not going to be thrilled with each other by the end of this thing. I'm certain of it. Miller sees the opportunity to win, drifting away every time Turner throws one of those blocks, but Turner needs these points. He needs to maximize the opportunity without the 48 here. 0.7 of a second is the lead for Casey Locatis. Oh, he's in the fence, Locatis is.
Oh. Don't do that.
He's trying. Here's a look at it.
Hey, you got a slight brush on the quarter
Ooh.
panel, just a little bit of sparks.
Oh,
Flirting with
man.
the wall. And these guys are about to hit the wall.
These guys are just scrapping at it. Look at the 24, throw another block on the 30. Here comes the 30 down the inside for position. He gets the door open, side by side for second.
This is a chance to get really ugly really quickly. Both these cars yard out sideways trying to get traction off of turn 2. Drag race for both of them. Miller now with the advantage, but how much room is Turner going to give him?
Oh, the 30 car just chucked it in there. Can Turner carve down to the bottom again? He's going to get to the bumper out of turn 4.
Oh, he almost pushes the 30 out of turn 4, almost turns him sideways. 24 with the run, trying to find something back on Miller again. It's going to be hard. He's got some damage to work with on the nose.
Big pack into turn 1. About 6 cars in this fight, maybe 7. Count the 60 car at Tebben, who's battling Zach Passett in the background, but the 71, big loose out of turn 2. Here comes the 24 to the bottom, and the 23 to the bottom now.
Oh, this could get ugly. Here goes the 23. We saw them scrap before. Does Massey return the favor?
Very, very tight racing, but Miller is clear. 0.8 of a second up to Locatis. The 23's on the apron, slides back up, almost gets into the side of the 24. This is good racing for third place now.
And Turner racing aggressively because now he's stuck on the outside lane. He's just about to get freight trained by these guys. Still holding on though. Massey struggling to get traction off of turn 2, loses some time.
Miller eating into the lead that Casey Locatis has. A couple hundredths of a second a lap. He's going to need a little bit more than that to get to the lead. That
And
time
the
through was a full
question is-
10th. Oh boy, contact. Oh, the 24 spins. They crash. Massey slides down into the apron. He keeps it straight. We stay green.
If he wasn't a 24 fan before, he's definitely not now.
Holy cow, have a look at this. Wow, I can't believe that wasn't a bigger wreck than it was. But Massey will drop to 12th, and any chance he had at a good day. Look at the 24's damage now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not definitely not helping him out at all.
If he can finish this race in anywhere near the top 5 with a car looking like that. But I'm guessing that's going to be a challenge. Look at the 69, the 60, the 9. All right in tow. Locatis gained that time on Miller. Coming to 10 to go.
Yeah, I'm really curious here. Even if Miller catches him, does he have enough car to work with to get around Casey? It's going to be tough to say, and as you mentioned, that gap's been expanding this time by 31.4 for Locatis, 31.5 for Miller.
Connor?
Yeah, Miller really wanted to get by Bayley Turner way earlier than that, but Turner was persistent on staying ahead and working together with each other to catch the 50 Locatis, but Jeremy just was too fast for that to be a viable option. I think he wasted too much time behind the 24 to make that happen. Also, the 30's damage making it very difficult to get to Locatis. And right before that incident, Bayley Turner was already on the radio.
On the wall!
Oh, big hit for the 30 car. Behind him, it's chaos. Everybody scatters. Miller drops down the order a couple positions. It is chaos now at the front of the field. Opportunities left and right. The 30 big tank slapper slammed the fence in front of Carwile, now drops to 4th place.
Yeah, there goes any chance he had to run. How about Dustin German slipping his way into the top 3 at the end of this?
Holy cow.
First start for him.
It's all coming together. 9 laps now, 8 laps to go for Casey Locatis. Trouble behind him. Big slide from Trejo. Gets into the side of Chambliss.
You're seeing guys, everyone's starting to spray paint no matter what.
Turner to the inside of Passon. He's going to drop positions. He is definitely the cork in the bottle right now, and the pressure is building, and it's about to pop.
Devin also finding his way to the outside, going to follow in the trails of his teammate. Turner defends his car, lost the nose of that machine as he slowly trickles down the order.
So Casey Leconus has never won in the Outsider Racing League. He is 7 laps from ending that winless streak. He's won another series in the Class B car. Think back to the Fuel Racing League a couple of years ago back at Texas. He won a race there. But it has been 116 starts in ORL, and it has been a dry cup of wine for him. He has not been able to drink from the cup of success here. In the last 6 laps, he's closing in.
Yeah, I'm trying to check here. Trying to check a stat out. Can't quite get the numbers on. I'll get back to you on that hopefully before it sends.
5 laps to go next time by. The gap has stabilized a little bit. Carwile did eat into the lead just a touch, but I'm not sure that he's got enough time to get there. Here comes Trejo to the inside of Turner, who's just nursing back a very damaged car. Tight quarters out of turn 4. Zach Passon and Jeremy Miller fighting for 4th.
Working his way to the outside now. Ooh, gonna turn it hard back to the inside.
Yeah, he's just trying to get there. The other thing to keep in mind is Ray Massey's not that much farther back. I imagine if the 23 gets up to him, that could be an interesting end of the day for both.
This might not be all done yet. Carlos closing in about 2/10 a lap last time by a 10. He gained on the 50. It's not going to be close, though. Not going to be exact, but it's going to be close.
I think he's going to need a little bit more time than that, so he's got to ramp it up just a touch if he wants to have a real shot at it.
Well, the way this race has gone, anything is possible as you see these guys get into a scrap here.
Yeah, Jerry West wants a position from Bayley Turner, who's got that nose damage now up ahead of them. You see Miller and Passon, the 2 purple cars, scrapping. Zach Passon's having a really good night. At least it's going to end that way if things continue.
It's past Miller, so up inside to 4th.
Bayley Turner to the inside of West, just trying to hang on to what he can. This is still going to be a top 10, provided that Massey doesn't get back to him. If Massey does get back to him, I think he's going to end up with a junk car in the motorhome lot.
I was going to say, I think Casey's hoping that he doesn't get to him until after the checkered flag as he comes to collect 2 to go. And for Casey Locatis, it's the longest winless streak in ORL. And if he can hold on for 2 more laps, he can end it.
Yeah, I know. But Brian Chambliss also had a really long winless streak that he ended back in Atlanta. We've seen a handful of new winners this season that have not won races before. Think back to that caution when just after it, Casey Locatis said, if I can just get out front, I can run away with this. I wouldn't call it running away completely. He's being reeled back in, but everyone else is running out of time, Finian.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that strategy call he pulled to stay out on the track might have been the winning one here as he comes to the white flag.
1 more lap around Nashville Super Speedway for the number 50. A couple of cautions and some chaotic moments. A handful of lead changes. Some battles still happening on the racetrack inside the top 5. Still battling 21 and 30 door to door. But for Casey Locatis, 116 races. He has the most starts in Outsider Racing League history, 116. After never winning in this series, he will come out of turn 4 for the first time ever. Casey Locatis will win in the Outsider Racing League. He gets it done at Nashville, and that is the sweetest music in Music City for the number 50. Wow. Carwile, Passon, Dustin German. Oh, Dustin German lost the run of the line by 68 thousandths of a second. Here's what that looked like. Wow.
Wow, through the grass. How about that?
Let's have another look at that between those drivers. German was getting past. He was in 3rd, and out of turn 4, the 69 gets by. The 100 crosses over here, went for the grass, and couldn't quite get there, but it passed and did grab the podium right at the very end. You see the 24 giving a congratulatory bump. Turner finished 10th. And that's a tough day for him. But for Casey Locatis, Finian, he's never won an ORL. This is his first win ever, and I bet you this burnout's going to feel really, really good.
I was going to say, just hopefully he doesn't embarrass himself here.
35th winner in the Outsider Racing League. Started in 7th tonight, ran inside the top 10, but was never much of a factor until that last pit stop sequence. Stayed out and drove away, Connor. For the first time ever, Casey Locatis gets it done. This has got to be a special one for him. As you mentioned, most starts in ORL history.
Yeah, 116 starts coming in. Remember how thrilling his win at Texas was in the Fuel League about a year or so back. It was a long time coming in that league. It was an even longer time coming in Outsiders Racing League. Like we said, 116 starts, finally gets it done. 35th winner in ORL's history, and none more popular than this one, I would have to think.
Yeah, again, Casey, it's pretty hard for anybody to be mad at this guy. He brought me Wisconsin Kringle one time here in Chicago, so I got if you don't know what Kringle is, you should Google it. It's good stuff. But Casey gets it done. Casey gets it done. Let's have a look at our race results and have a look at our finishing order. Locatis, Carwile, Passon, a unique top 3. Passon jumping up there. That's his first start ever in the ORL history. And Eddie Trejo, Jeremy Miller, Chambliss, and Bayley Turner, the rest of the top 10. Finian, then Ray Massey, and then we got to cycle through them. There's the rest of the running order. A couple drivers out. Mitch Welker, though, disappointing this race.